Grant Morrison? It's just an old Scottish pal from the Highlands, lassie. Don't you remember me? You used to tell me about everything you were going to do, Jimmy. I don't sound Scottish. All right. I'm not Scottish. I just want to know what's going on with this flash script. Grant? Be like that. Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, grab a pew. Two massive rumours here on Monday's edition of the DCEU Daily. The beginning of a week is going to start with a bang. Two massive rumours. Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison are rumoured to be developing a Flashpoint Flash movie. We'll talk about that very shortly. And Ray Fisher and Warner Brothers are developing a cyborg movie. These are the big rumours. Pinch of salt time. Let's get that tinfoil on and let's talk. So first of all, about a few months ago, we heard that Grant Morrison and Ezra Miller were going to go and write their own Flash movie, give it to Warner Brothers to see what they thought. That script was completed. We don't know what Warner Brothers think. It all goes back to Ezra Miller kind of saying in an interview a few months back, saying he didn't just want to do any old Flash movie. He wanted it to be epic. He wanted it to be amazing, and he wanted to make the fans happy because he is a Flash fan, by the way. So I think we're going to talk about this one first. What do I think, if this is true, that Grant Morrison and Ezra Miller are actually developing a Flashpoint movie? Now, if you remember rightly, this was Zack Snyder's original plan to kind of have a Flashpoint movie. And then after Zack was removed, they decided to bring the directors from Spider-Man Homecoming. They also did Game Night, so they're very talented guys, to do kind of a light, jokey, Back to the Future type movie, which I was interested in. But it was just, listen, it just sounds generic and dull to me. Now, I love Aquaman and I love Shazam, but they pretty much do go down that Marvel formula. And for me, when you've got the MCU and the success it is, you don't have to follow it. You do something a bit different, right? You can still have gags, but you can just mix the tones and stuff. Look, I'm a DC fan, so I want to see films that I'm going to have on repeat for the rest of my life. I want them to be classics. And a lot of people didn't want a Flashpoint movie because they said it was too soon and it will be problematic to bring in Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa, because in the Flashpoint graphic novel, you get a really, really evil Aquaman and a really evil Wonder Woman. Pretty much they're lovers. She kills Mira. I mean, it's a nuts story. So how can you do kind of a Flash origin movie and mix it in with a Flashpoint movie? Well, I think it's actually not as hard. As a writer, I put things in at stages. So we already know, they already kind of reference in Justice League that Barry Allen's dad's in jail for killing his mother. The story's there, right? But you'd want to see it. So you can see it all. You start off with that. You see what happens. You see Reverse Flash killing Barry's mum, so you see him having to grow up dealing with that. Then he gets an opportunity to do Flashpoint, and then you get into the whole Flashpoint thing. So you can literally have Barry Allen in his main kind of universe for about half an hour. So they set him up in that universe, and maybe we even see Wonder Woman, like the DCEU Wonder Woman and Aquaman at first, and then the Flashpoint thing happens. Look, I think this could work. I think this could be massive. And I would certainly be up for this. Look, this excites me more than Back to the Future Flash movie. And I think this is the thing with Ezra Miller. He has an advantage over Warner Brothers. Listen, they love Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller has got a lot of light shining down on him. And Ezra knows this. Ezra knows that at this point, he can get the Flash movie that he wants. And it's very rare, really. I only know Daniel Craig, who kind of is passionate with what happens with the kind of franchise that he's in terms of James Bond, and he fights hard for what he wants and he gets it. And this is what Ezra Miller is doing, because Ezra could just sit there, do a movie, get his cash. He doesn't have to care, but he does. And as I said in my video when I first broke this news, I think that's really important and I think that's really unique. So I, for one, would absolutely love a Flashpoint movie written by Grant Morrison and Ezra Miller. How awesome would that be? Of course, I want your opinions down in the comments. I want to know what you think at this point. And, you know, apparently the scheduling is still to start shooting in November. Now, apparently we could hear something by the end of May. I'm not so sure. We may have to wait till Comic-Con. It's going to be a very, very interesting San Diego Comic-Con. Remember, this stuff that I'm laying on you is pure rumour based on bits and tidbits I've heard. So my final assessment of this is bring it on. Give me an awesome, epic Flashpoint movie. Come on. Come on. And of course you've got Batman's dad, Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne. And we know who played Thomas Wayne in Batman v Superman, don't we? So the whole thing really would be absolutely epic. And I say bring it on. Now for this other massive rumour is that Ray Fisher and Warner Brothers are developing a Cyborg movie. Now, I know that Patty Jenkins is a very, very big fan of Ray Fisher and his performance. Let me tell you how I feel about Ray Fisher's performance as Cyborg in Justice League. He was one of my favourite characters in the film. The performance, I think, what he goes through, and even, look, I know that Cyborg and the fleshing out for him was a lot better in the Snyder Cut. But I need to get away from, for this moment on this subject, I need to get away from my Snyder Cut agenda and think about the DCEU and the DC world of films. What do we want here? And the truth is, despite how they cut Zack's film to pieces, I still think Ray Fisher gave us a great interpretation of Cyborg. I felt his pain. I felt his struggle. I felt his bitterness towards his dad and his guilt for the loss of his mother. And that came out all through his performances. So I think Ray Fisher is a great Cyborg. And I, for one, I've been a bit disappointed that we haven't heard anything about a Cyborg movie. I think it could be brilliant. I think it could be epic. I want to see it. I want to see these things because they're off left field. They're interesting. They're unique. So I really do hope we get a Cyborg movie. But of course, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think down below about these two issues. I think this is massive if these rumours are true. Cyborg's a great character. And if you do him on the level and you make him compelling and you flesh him out, I mean, I want to see the Snyder Cut. I want to see what they truly did with Cyborg because I think it's even more compelling. So I think it's all about Ray Fisher's performance in the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League, the theatrical cut, because he really does convince you he is that character. I know a lot of people don't like the CGI in Joss Whedon's cut for Cyborg. It didn't really bother me. For me, I'm more focused about character and performances, but I'm sure they could do a better job. You know, it's all there. Cyborg's a great character. It's all there to make a great Cyborg superhero movie. I just feel that, you know, we've got to kind of get away from trying to copy Marvel. I love the post-credit scenes. Keep them going. As I say, I love the Aquaman and Shazam. And that's great and that's cool. But we just can't keep on making Marvel movies just to keep safe. The problem is, right, let me give you an example. Have you ever heard of the game Kaplunk? So you pull out, you've got all these balls or something, right? And they're balanced on these kind of toothpicks. And if you pull one out, all the balls can literally fall out. That's where the DCEU is right now. They do one wrong thing and they're back to square one again. In a way, they have to kind of please the bloggers and the pundits and the critics until they can get some levity and they can do what the MCU do, which is just make any old movie and people just turn in. But until they do that, it's really difficult for them to take risks. I think because there is love for Aquaman and Shazam, I think a Flashpoint movie, for the very first Flash movie, by that point, they could get away with it because by then we would have had the Batman movie as well. So I feel I want to see unique superhero films. And I feel that as long as they don't do anything too dramatic with Birds of Prey, I don't think it's going to be that serious of a situation where you can't take a gamble on the Flash movie and you can't do a Cyborg movie. I do feel it's there. I think as I said the other day, it's all about Wonder Woman 84. That film is the film that's either going to shape the future of this franchise or take it back to square one. So as I said, please comment down below. Please like, share and subscribe and tell everyone about the channel.